Hey, how you guys doing, man? It's Sunday, it's the weekend. I know you're watching your game most likely, and I don't expect a lot of interaction. So it's kind of a cheat code, man, for you aspiring entrepreneurs out there or those that know, right? You could use the weekend to get up on some things, man, to get a leg up, if you will. In that spirit, what I do on a weekly basis just to kind of lighten the mood, I do my reactions, my react videos, and I'm gonna work on saying but I react to videos that people send me throughout the week from various social media platforms. Here lately, a lot of stuff has been from TikTok. Okay. So if you want me to react to a video in the way I'm going to do over these next 3-4 videos and give you my opinion from a lender standpoint on a weekend where we relaxed, you know, we suited and booted during the weekend, real serious, but on the weekend we just kind of chilling. Send them over. Search at LEND, Lend to USA. Send me the DM and I'll give you my opinion. So without further ado, let's get into my man Chris. Chris Mortgage Tips. If you look in the description below, we give attribution, right? So check him out. I think he knows what he's talking about, but let's react to this one.
Thing you need to know if you're looking to buy a home in 2023, even with a down payment assistance program, or you're looking to put zero down for a down payment. Now, the reason I wanted to make this video is because I'm seeing it a lot on my first client calls. They are not aware of these fees, and I wanted to make sure that you knew them. Number one, even if you're...
Let me stop him right there. He is most definitely correct. This is something that blows my mind over the years, regardless of the amount of homebuyer education, seminars, things of that nature. Folks really still don't understand the cost that one is responsible for when buying a home. That said, the cost initially just to get a home under contract doesn't mean you're going to close on that home, but I like where he's going. Down payment and closing costs. Down payment and closing costs are something that you need to prepare yourself for if you are a home buyer. And per on the screen, right? Down payment assistance can cover all or a portion of your down payment, but you still have the closing costs. So remember, guys, if you're out here and this is your first time and you're looking to buy a home, you really need to have some funds. You really need to have that understanding because assistance is the key word. Let's keep going.
You're using down payment assistance to cover your down payment, or VA or USDA with a 0% down payment fee, you're going to be responsible for two things: earnest money deposit, which is 1 to 3% of the purchase price. And you're also going to be responsible for any closing costs. Now, I talked to some people who think that if they use a down payment assistance program, they're not going to be responsible for any of those fees. Just know.
Yeah. And just to go back, just to reiterate what he said, I've had people actually that's been in the industry, and we'll keep it positive, but they argue, it doesn't take 6 to 10% to get into a home, depending on where you are. And I think a lot of people say that because they only lend where they lend. My team, we lend nationwide. And so depending on the state, county, township, parish that you are residing or looking to purchase in, it will dictate the total cost of you to get into that home, anywhere between, as little as 3% up to 10% because of the taxes and insurance. But to his point, he's speaking more first-time home buyers. He's talking about down payment assistance programs. And again, a lot of folks don't realize there's more than just the down payment assistance. And a lot of these programs, the assistance can be used for the down payment, but you still have closing costs. Moreover, if you're USDA or VA, shout out to you because now you don't have to worry about the down payment. But again, closing costs are still very important. And before I go back in, he mentioned earnest money and option money. As I said in the beginning, just to get a home under contract so that you can do your due diligence. Hopefully you're doing that, getting an inspection to make sure that you want to purchase a home. Those are the two things that you have to have up front, right? 1 to 3%. Some of these new home builders now, I know one major builder, $6,000. That's just to pull the house off the market. They want to make sure folks are serious and things of that nature. So earnest money you can get back if you cancel the contract within your option period. Your realtor will explain that to you. But very good information. And option monies you don't get back, right? Because that gives you the ability to do your due diligence. The seller's taking the home off of the market, allowing you to do your due diligence to see if you want to purchase the home. So if you back away from that, understand the option money goes to the seller. You don't get that, as well as your inspection fees. Very important for you to know that. Let's move forward.
You're going to have to at least put some money down for EMD, even if sellers do cover all of the closing costs for you. Found this helpful? Go ahead and give me a follow.
Yeah, so you guys reach out to him again. He's down in the description. I put the 3 videos that I'm reviewing down in the description so you guys can check them out if you want to. But yeah, shout out to Chris. Like what he's talking about, right? Let's move forward.
A mortgage storm is coming.
Before we move forward, let's do this. Let's do this. Before we move forward, how about this? You guys check out that video right there on our channel at Lend2USA. If you want to really get an understanding, a deeper dive into how much money is needed to purchase a home, not just your down payment and closing costs, and some other intricacies of buying a home, don't play yourself. Check out that video right there on our YouTube channel. How much do you need for what? Closing costs, down payment to get in the home. So check that out, right? Now, let's get into the next video. Who we going with? Before we start, okay. Let me quit. It's the weekend, right? We chilling. I like the glasses. The glasses are clean. You feel me? Let's see what that's the vibe she give me. Let's see what she's talking about, right? A mortgage storm is coming. Sound like Sam Cooke. It's been a long time. Oh, let me stop.
Mortgage storm is coming. You've heard the other real estate agents encouraging people to buy and then refinance when rates drop. A lot of people listen to them. There's something called a 3-2-1 buy down that a lot of people have done. It's usually offered by builders.
Okay, so I'm going to let her finish, but the tone and the tenor that she's given about the 3-1 or 3-2-1 buy down. Actually, there's a 1-1, 2-1, 3-2-1 buy down. What that is, like she's saying, the builder and or a regular home buyer, anybody that's selling, the seller position, can actually pre-fund, prepay interest on your potential home loan for 1 year, 2 years, or 3 years. And as we'll use the 3-2-1 since that's what she mentioned. So let's say rates are 7%. You get a 7% rate that you qualify at. So 7, 6, 5, 4. So your first year, your interest rate is 4%. Then it goes up a percent, year 2 to 5, year 3, 6, and then year 7 going forward is at the 7% if you have not refinanced. Now, what I'm getting from her is it's a scam. This reminds me of back in 2004, 5, and 6. Okay, there were a lot of adjustable rate mortgages, subprime adjustable rate mortgages that you hear a lot of people talk about today, especially coming where I'm from in my community, right? It's the boogeyman. You know, that's like them alphabet boys. You know, you talk adjustable rate mortgage, and a lot of us get tight. And it is not for everyone. What is not for everyone, an adjustable rate mortgage? But the reason I bring that up, that's the fear that's been pushed out, that now these 3-2-1s, I've heard people say that they are adjustable rate mortgages. No, they're not. And adjustable rate mortgages are not bad. Back in the day, they were given to people that took advantage of the situation. We always want to put blame on everybody, not just folks weren't forced to get them. Okay. So there was a lack of understanding, lack of education. That's why we do these reaction videos. That's why I do videos to educate you. So said all that to say, before we go back to this young lady, 3-2-1 buy downs or buy downs in general are not bad. And they're a very good strategy in a higher interest rate environment. You just have to understand what they are. And more importantly, you can't feel like you can make a payment. You can't think you can make a payment. You have to know that you can afford, you might not want to pay, but you can afford the interest rate at the fully, I call it the fully index rate. I'm pulling from adjustable rate mortgages, but at the fully qualified rate. Okay. Same thing with student loans. A lot of people lament about the student loans, but you have to realize a lot of you guys are just paying a fraction of the interest. That's why the balance keeps growing. So you have to pay the fully amortized payment. You have to be able to pay that. And the strategy is, hey, we think rates will come down in a period of time. The seller pays the interest to help make the difference in those years of the seller funded pay down. Let's move forward.
Essentially what it does is it gives people a break of 3 points the first year of their mortgage, 2 points the second year of their mortgage, and 1 point the third year of their mortgage, and then it goes to the market rate. If they bought a year ago, rates were at 6.30. Today they're at 7.74. It's not looking good that they're going down. The lowest rate in history was in January of 2021 at 2.65. And the highest in history was in 1981 at 18.63. So historically, a 6% rate is pretty low, but not when you're buying beyond your means.
Now that she's redeemed herself. That's the key, right? You have to know your numbers and buy within your means. All of the 1980 interest rates were 18% and houses were $2. And now they're, potentially 8% and home prices are higher. That's a death of 1,000 cuts. Okay. You have to live in the time and space that you're in. And in the time and space that we're in, interest rates are up because there were trillions and trillions of dollars that were printed just a couple of years ago. A lot of you guys, respectfully, that are lamenting about prices being up, you're getting a great course in economics because you can't just print money and drop it out of the air. Now you have more dollars chasing goods. In this context of this video, a lot of folks that want to buy a lot of money, okay? And the inventory of homes cannot meet the demand. We have prices going up. So to her point, again, you cannot buy beyond your means, regardless of the mortgage product. Okay, we're adults. Nobody's making you do anything. So buyer beware. And you really need to partner with the team. The team is very important so that they can present information to you to give you the worst case scenario and to protect you in a sense that, hey, you should really understand what it is that you're doing before you do it, because what happens if rates in this case don't go down where you can refinance? Can you afford it? See, that's what real professionals do. Let's keep going.
Thinking it's going to go down. The people that bought a year ago already are bumped up a point, and their payment is going to continue to get more expensive. We are absolutely seeing more inventory and a slight slowdown in how long things take to sell. I'm talking about Los Angeles. Maybe different in other parts of the country, but I'm hearing the same things.
So that's another thing, guys. Don't mean to keep cutting her off, but a lot of these videos that folks are consuming and getting your feathers in a ruffle, you need to ask these folks where they are. If she's in LA, okay, a lot of those home prices that are coming down a little bit, not to the mean, not to the 2019 prices, but a lot of things that are coming down. Thanks, Ms. Hayes. If you have a question, go ahead and put it on the screen. But a lot of these folks that are talking and scaring people, you have to ask where they are, because all real estate is local, okay? And then once you know and understand where they are in the country, it makes sense a little bit. Anything on the coast, left, right, and some places down south, you're going to have higher cost for homes. Home prices ran hot in a lot of those areas. Well, you see a little pullback, but, and I won't spoil it, I'm going to have an economist that we're going to react to here in just a minute. He explains better than I can why you won't see a drastic drop in prices. I alluded to it earlier. So my point is, and I'll let her finish, find out where these folks are speaking from? Meaning, where is their perspective coming from? If she's in LA, I could see it. It's already high. LA was already high. You know, they selling sheds out there for $1 million. No disrespect. Shout out to LA. Let's keep going.
Don't ever purchase a house unless you can afford the rate that you get when you buy it for the long term. Don't gamble it's going to come down. If you get a 3-2-1, it's just human nature. People think they got a good deal and they spend extra money. And then that day it comes due to increase to the mortgager, it's going to hurt. We're getting close to 8, although I doubt it will get there. But I do think we're going to stay in the 7s for the next year or so. And if and when it goes down, it's probably going to be in the 6s or maybe the high 5s if we're lucky.
So again, I agree with her. The moral of the story is you buy now if you can afford now. And if the rates, and I say if, they will come down eventually. It's business, but you're not banking on having to have a payment that is adjusted to a 4% rate, thinking that, hey, market is going to come down because you heard somebody say buy. Also, as we move forward, that does not mean that a 3-2-1 buy down is the devil. It doesn't. You have to know your numbers. You have to know and understand that you're not in Vegas. We're not gambling. And you have to be an adult. You got to be serious about what's going on. And I keep mentioning an adult, not to speak down to everybody or anyone, but this is the largest transaction that most people will make. Has to be done the right way. We can't buy because a celebrity told you to buy, or you saw somebody on YouTube and the euphoria of buying a home. You have to understand, like the scriptures say, you got to understand the full matter. Now, before we move forward, let's do this. If you want to know how to lower your interest rates, go deeper again. Let's go deeper and go into some of these strategies on how to buy now and find the opportunities of buying now. If you can, this is another great video to watch. Got to go to the YouTube channel at Land2USA, subscribe, find this video, okay? And then you let me know if it's something that adds value, okay? Now, before we go forward, if you like this type of content, let a brother know, man. Let me know, because I'm here to reach out to you guys, to give you the information that you need to help you make a decision. Because here's the deal. A lot of you guys have been able, you have the ability and willing, but you've been listening to the rhetoric. And just think, if you would have bought in 2019, you'd be up. And the interest rate low. You'll be some of these folks that are in a interest rate where you're not wanting to sell now. So your team matters. Can't go back. You have to deal with where we are now. So again, if you like this information, like it, subscribe to the channel. You will not be disappointed. Let's keep moving, man. I kind of like this. See you later. Don't she give you that? She's tiger, a leopardess, or whatever they call it. Let me stop clowning.
I just left the saddest listing appointment I've ever had in my life, and guys, there's so much pain in this market right now no one is talking about. It's mind-blowing. So these people end up purchasing a property about 18 months ago. It was actually my listing. They had their own representation. Anyway, they have been looking for a property for about 2 years, and whenever they came across my listing, they decided to go all out. They maxed out their budget. Their debt to income, it was like about 48%, which is insane considering that lenders don't even think about childcare cost. So anyway, they end up.
Okay, I was with her for a minute. Again, she said a couple of things that threw up my spidey senses. You should never exhaust all of your resources to get into a home. That reeks of me of someone that got caught up in the hype, FOMO. And again, when you do things like this, everything has to work perfectly. And as we sit back and really look at things maturely, whatever does work perfectly. Something always goes wrong. So some of us have more of a mindset to where we're in Vegas. We're going to put it all on 9, right? We're going to roll. But when it comes to things of this nature, you have to have a conservative bone in you. So maybe you have someone, you're in a relationship, one's a little more aggressive, one's conservative. You got to utilize those things because you guys are a team and you keep things in balance, right? It's a pendulum. You can't be too far to the left or the right. You have to be center of the road. So it shouldn't take everything in your ability to get into a home. That's a key sign that you are not ready. You need to save some more funds. Respectfully. Number 2, it is not my responsibility as a lender, although I am a lender that looks out probably too much for folks. I've been told that, hey, I didn't ask you that. I'm working on that. And when somebody says I didn't ask you that, because I'm like, hey man, you really can't afford it. Well, I didn't ask you that. So I have to pull back and not really give my opinion, but present options. But to that point, the lender is not going to look at all we're going to look at as far as a lender is concerned are the minimum monthly payments on your credit report, okay? And any undisclosed liability, such as maybe another real estate taxes, IRS taxes, or payments that you might have to pay that don't show up on your credit report. The rest of that is on you, man. Child care, things of that nature. And she mentioned child care. Man, I didn't know y'all was paying this much for child care. That child care is crazy. And then your auto. So point I want to make is it's on you. That's why it's very important to know your numbers. Don't get caught up. Home ownership is a beautiful thing when done right. Let's go forward.
Buying the property because of fear of missing out. Their agent has been telling them throughout the whole process that the rates are going to come down in the next 6 months to a year whenever they will be able to refinance the property. These people had enough money for a 10% down payment, and they had about $50,000 left for repairs, closing costs, and just have a little cushion to cover up the mortgage until they refinance. Anyway, they are running out of money right now, guys. They have almost no equity into the property because the market did not go up since they purchased it. In the area where I work, it's about the same. I would say slightly a little bit less than whatever they bought it for. But once you sell a property in every state, but in California mostly, you have closing costs. You have the seller pays for agents, you have title, escrows, taxes, home warranty, blah blah blah, a lot of this shit. So you end up having a lot to pay in closing costs, which is about 7%. That's pretty much all the equity they have into their house. They saved 7 years for this down payment. 7 freaking years. Now they're in a situation that if they're not able to refinance in the next 3 to 6 months, guys, they will have to sell their home, because if not, they will have their home foreclosed on.
So here's the deal. Again, she mentioned FOMO, fear of missing out. This is not a pair of tennis shoes or a purse, ladies, or a pair of sneakers, guys. We got to stop buying things because of that pressure that folks feel. Because when the chips hit the fan, all these people that you were trying to impress, they're not coming to chip in to help you pay for these things. So it sounded like these folks had some money, right? But you know what they did wrong, in my humble opinion, in listening to what she's saying? Because there's two sides to every story, but they overstretched. They purchased more home than they could afford. And then they wanted to use the strategy of the 3-2-1 seller funded buy down to get into the home with the hopes, I'm going back to Vegas, I'm gambling, putting it all on 9, that the rates would have come down enough to refinance to stay there. So they were already in trouble. Why? Because they couldn't afford the home that they were going into. Better strategy would have been to have waited, save more money, or come down in purchase price. Okay. Another thing that I see that comes with FOMO is we're trying to impress the Joneses. Get in where you fit in. Get on the real estate property ladder on the rung that you qualify for, and it'll be a blessing. Okay. You can trade up. You don't have to get the dream house the first time. You want to lock in your shelter costs. And in my opinion, you should be more concerned about location, and the right purchase price. So that's really what happened here. And again, you have to watch it, because these folks are folks that run into these scenarios will then get online and say, well, the 3-2-1 is a scam. No, it's not. You could not afford the home. Secondly, got to watch these folks you guys are dealing with. A lot of people have commission breath, realtors, lenders alike, okay? And they'll tell you whatever they got to tell you because they levered up and they got to make a sale, right? And so, you know, buyer beware. It's up to you to understand that you know what your net monthly income is and what you really can afford at the full or the current market rate. Okay, I like the way she said that earlier. So you have to understand I can pay this payment for however long I need to pay. And then when interest rates come down, we can reposition ourselves if we're in a position to do so, because there's a lot of factors that could prevent you from doing that. I know because I have a lot of clients that I couldn't refinance during the pandemic when rates were 2% because their credit was bad. Well, you know what? Their credit was bad when I got them into it. And you know what the hardest thing to change is? Behaviors. You see what I'm saying? So again, that's something that they shouldn't have done. Watch your team. That's number 2. Watch your team is number 2. And the last thing is this. Real estate is long term. It's slow money, steady Eddie. What are you saying? If you're not going to live in these homes for 7 years, that's the new norm now. It used to be 5, but folks are moving up or transitioning about every 7 to 10 years. So if 7 years is not in your mindset to be in the home, you don't need to buy. You need to find another vehicle to put your money in to grow. And then when you get to a position as far as a primary residence, you know, I got to be here 7 years or longer to make the numbers work. Now, if you're investing, that's something different. But those 3 things you have to watch out, and you won't have folks like this saying that, you know, it's hard out here and like folks are getting taken advantage of. Again, team is important. Team is important. Now, what do we have? What do we have? You know what? I got one here too. Got another video. See, we got videos, man. We've covered a lot of these things. So I don't want you to have remorse because it sounds like these folks have remorse, heartburn, and stress. Okay. We don't want you to be none of those things. We want the house to be a blessing to you. So if you want to prevent buyer's remorse, okay, go to the channel at Lend2USA. Subscribe, like, and then find this video on how to avoid buyer's remorse. If you know someone looking to buy, you know, that's a good gift. Share this with them beforehand and we could prevent that from happening. So you might be asking, you know what, Rob? Because I'm almost finished. Why do you do these types of videos? Well, trying to reach a different audience. This information is real boring. It's not real entertaining and things of that nature. So we're trying to give you what you need and have you enjoy it at the same time. Put the medicine in the cure, whatever they said. Put the medicine in the treat, right? So I'm directing this to the ladies, what I'm about to show. And you fellas, I couldn't find one, but this is the deal. We're in a market now where people might feel like they got to do something strange for a piece of change. So I want you to be able to get into a home without doing anything crazy. Because if you're like these folks, right, and you got into a house and now you got to sell because there's no equity and the interest rate didn't go down, you might have to deal with this brother here.
Turn it up. Turn it up.
He like, I ain't got no problem. What you need, some money? I got it for you. Look at him here. He trying to show you. I can make it disappear. Let me stop. So we don't want y'all to have to do nothing strange for no change, right? So you like, man, Rob, you need to quit clowning. You know, I just want to make you laugh. No, let me play this brother again. He getting it, right? Hey, watch him hit you with the swoop. Wow. He trying to let y'all ladies know. I've been paying bills for years. Okay. That's enough of that. So as we end, let's get a little serious. Dr. Ofe Divinguji. Okay, he's an economist for Zillow. And the reason I wanted to bring him on is to kind of validate a couple of things, right? So check it out. Check him out. Listen to this.
I don't think that's coming anytime soon. It sounds like you don't think it's coming anytime soon. But like, do you see anything that could move supply upward in the coming year or so?
So I think I told another group I talked to last week in DC. I think we really need new construction. it's all about Newcon, right? We gotta support new construction as much as possible. Right, look, before the pandemic, we came into the pandemic with massive underbuilding. I saw a paper by the Chicago Fed president, Austin Goolsbee, that basically said, construction productivity growth has lagged the rest of the U.S. economy over the last 40 years, right? Why is productivity so sluggish in the construction sector? There are many reasons, right? You have geographic constraints to building. Climate change could be another one, right? Especially going forward. But you also have these land use rules, right, that prevent supply from responding quickly enough to increases in demand. And I think that's where that provides an opportunity.
So as I wrap up, I just wanted to hit that one soundbite because this is an economist with Zillow, okay? And out of the mouth of the professional, he basically said this: there's a lack of supply. There's a lack of supply. Why is that important to somebody that has the ability to pay a higher rate, don't necessarily want to, don't like it, but you have to know and understand the strategy is to get into the property market, to get on the ladder, that I can lock in the prices today because prices have been going up. Regardless of what you hear the YouTubers and the folks on the news, right? If it leads, it bleeds. If it bleeds, it leads, pardon me. They're getting your attention to feed these ads to you. But when you look at the data, home prices are up. They're not down to where we were pre-pandemic, 2019. So you have to understand that the problem is there's a lack of supply. When you go to the channel and subscribe, check out the latest video on why today is not like the 2008 recession that was caused by housing, the global housing crisis that was caused by America and the subprime loans. And you'll understand the opportunity that some of you have today. Notice I said some of you, because higher rate environment has disqualified for now a lot of folks at a certain income bracket. It is what it is. So the opportunity is this: if you want to be on the property ladder and you are in the market now, you're still in the market now because you have the income, lock in a price that you can afford now, because the lack of supply is going to cause prices to remain at an elevated level, and they're starting to increase 3 to 5%. We're going back to that norm, but they're not going to fall like you think they are. So hopefully you enjoyed this week's reaction. If you want to see more videos like this, let me know. Again, if you see something that you'd like for me to react to on all of the socials, it's at LEND, the number 2 USA, at Lend2USA. Shoot me a message. I'll react to it. And I'm going to hit Grandpa here on the way out. Come on, Pops. Hey. Hey, y'all have a good weekend. Be blessed. Peace.